Hello everyone, this is Ilinka Vartik for pianocareeracademy.com, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to practice, how to stay in shape and even learn new repertoire when you do not have access to a piano. As you can see right now I'm in a hotel room. Unfortunately, because of the tragic war that is happening in Ukraine, we had to leave our home in the Republic of Moldova, which is very close to the war zone. We really hope to return home soon, but in the meantime I wanted to keep in touch and I wanted to create a video that will help all of you who don't have access to a piano right now, maybe because of the war, or maybe you're on vacation, which would be a much more positive occasion to practice on a different surface than the piano, or maybe you're moving houses and you'll not have access to your instrument for a couple of months. Luckily, practicing on a hard surface such as this railing, a desk, a table, or a windowsill is almost as good and efficient, and sometimes even more useful than practicing on a real piano. So no matter what, keep practicing, keep moving forward, keep pursuing your dreams, keep playing beautiful music, even if in this situation a lot of it will be in your imagination. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So first we need to find a surface. In any hotel room you'll probably find a desk. Here I found this railing, which is very comfortable for filming, and you need to start with correct posture. Standing is okay as well, as long as your elbows are aligned with the imaginary keys. Having the elbow a bit higher is okay as well. Just make sure your elbows are not below the level of the keys, because this will really break the alignment between your shoulders, elbows, hands and fingers, and can potentially really hurt your technique and even cause injuries. So straight back, good distance from the piano, making sure that you have full freedom of motion. The elbows are slightly in front of your torso, not glued to your sides. So all those elements of correct posture apply as well when you practice on a different surface. If you're sitting, the situation is even more similar to practicing on a real piano. Then it is advisable to start any practice session with a warm-up. If you're a late beginner, intermediate or advanced student, you can start with scales or with a passage from an etude that you're practicing at the moment, so you have a lot of flexibility there. For example, right now I'm going to start practicing something as basic as the C major scale in 4 octaves. And you will notice straight away that this is a bit more challenging from a coordination point of view, especially if you're also talking at the same time. But take your time, practice non-legato first if you need to. You can even practice hands separately, practice slowly then. So apply all those practice methods that I normally share in my tutorials. Work mindfully, take it one step at a time, and of course don't forget about whole arm action. Don't forget about correct technique. And now that we reached the topic of correct technique, I'll tell you how to practice on an improvised surface if you're an absolute beginner or you only have a couple of weeks or months of experience. Your warm-up will start with non-legato exercises. This can either be a piece that you're practicing and you will start by playing it non-legato, or simply with this exercise which I call the fundamental non-legato whole arm key attack. So basically you play one note at a time, starting with the 3rd finger by using your entire arm, channeling the weight coming from your entire body, especially if you're standing, and from your upper body if you're sitting, channeling this weight through your shoulder, and your shoulders are down, don't raise them, through your elbow, which is not locked, which is not stiff, through your flexible wrist, into your strong hand dome, strong and sharp fingertip, and into the surface. So there's this line of energy coming from your back. There's no blockages anywhere. And this is a wonderful hand and finger strengthening exercise. So this part is quite concentrated, and everything from the wrist up is loose and flexible. So this is the fundamental non-legato key attack that, if we practice it on a hard surface, can be even more useful than doing it on the real keyboard. As you press the imaginary key, don't hit the surface and don't touch it either. You have to imagine that this surface is like a flexible pillow or a piece of dough or some gel into which you can sink your finger gradually. So dive into this surface. Of course, this mostly happens in your mind, but on the physical level, your touch is gradual, pressing, sinking. Again, a wonderful exercise that, when translated to the piano, will help you to create that beautiful, rich singing tone. And do this with the right hand, with the left hand, then switch to the second finger, to the fourth finger, fifth finger. Doing it with the thumb is okay as well, but don't spend too much time here. The important thing is to feel that you're not playing with your fingers, you're playing with the arms and using the arms as one unit. So even if I would make this little fist and do this, the exercise would still be valid. It's still the same principle. So before we learn how to use the fingers in professional piano playing, we learn how to use the arm as one unit. And only after that, we focus on the smaller finger movements. And if the progression of your practice goes in this order, this is the best way to build a healthy, ergonomic, comfortable technique that will allow you to develop brilliance, great expressive power, velocity, everything that you want from your practice. Okay, so this was your warm-up. Next, it's time to work on our pieces, regardless of your level. And by the way, I forgot to mention, if you're an intermediate or advanced student, practice your scales during your warm-up in all the variations that I cover in my scale and arpeggio course, or that you are practicing as part of your own technical regimen. These may be thirds, so right now I'm practicing C major in thirds. As you can see, the approximate distance of a third is between my hands. Tenths, sixth, arpeggios, short arpeggios right now, long arpeggios. Okay, then we can practice octaves, chromatic scales, everything that is in your practice, everything that you want to learn. And before we move on to our pieces, we have to address another important topic that becomes relevant when we practice on a hard surface. The fact that here we don't have the exact distance between keys, and this can create a little problem, especially if you're a beginner and that distance is not yet well ingrained in your muscle memory. The ideal solution for this would be to have a piece of paper with a printed piano keyboard. So it's just this bidimensional piece of paper that has the exact distances we have on a piano. Roll that paper, put it in your luggage, put it then on your desk and practice. But even without that, even if you're a beginner, the fact that you're exercising your whole arm key attack, the fact that you practice your easy non-legato pieces, that you learn them, this is already wonderful. So don't worry too much about not keeping that exact distance between keys to the millimeter. Other things are much more important. Pre-hearing, understanding the piece, working on your technique, even working on expressive effects, as we will talk about in a moment. So, you finished your warm-up, now it's time to put the score of your piece in front of you. And please keep in mind that this method is very useful not just for maintaining your old pieces in your repertoire, not just for making sure that your technique doesn't degrade, or for making small progress in the pieces that are already in your fingers. This is also wonderful for learning new repertoire, for taking a brand new piece that you've never seen before and learning it one step at a time. So let's imagine that you want to learn a new piece, and I'll take you through a very quick overview of the step-by-step process we need here. Ideally, you start by listening to a very good recording of that piece. This is especially important if you don't have a piano, and especially if you're a beginner or intermediate player. It's very important to create that mental image of the music in your inner hearing so that you know what you're aiming for and you're not just a note typist, you look in the score, you imagine here we have C, here we have E, but the music is alive, you already know where you're going. So listen to a very good professional recording. Then, as always, we need to analyze the music. You look in the score and we identify the most important elements of the text. The title of the piece, its genre, the composer and his style. Do a bit of internet research if you don't know much about the composer. This is very important to set the scene. Then we take a look at the tempo, time signature, tonality, the dramaturgy of the piece, the form, the way it is built, what kind of textures we have there, where are the main difficulties, what happens in the left hand, what happens in the right hand, what technical patterns do we have, what type of rhythm, do we have syncopation, do we have triplets, do we have polyrhythms. So basically take your magnifying glass and make sure that you have clear understanding of the canvas, of the map, of what this piece is all about. And of course, all of this will help you to understand the artistic concept of the piece. What is the message? What is the piece about? Is it sad? Is it merry? Maybe it's tragic. Maybe it is about a little sparrow. Or maybe it depicts the creation of the universe. Artistic concepts can be as diverse and interesting as life itself. And always, always start your practice by understanding it. And then you start the deciphering process. One hand at a time, one bar at a time, so don't attempt to just sight read the piece from beginning to end, even if you're a super advanced player. Still, quality and this magnifying glass work is the one that will produce the best results. Therefore, start from the beginning, let's say left hand first. You can always practice non-legato first during the deciphering stage to make sure that you set that foundation of correct whole arm technique and that there's no stiffness here, no tension, and you're not switching to finger only tensed shallow playing. Use non-legato as you learn the correct notes, the correct rhythm, the correct fingering. Internalize everything very well with the left hand, let's say for the first phrase. Then do the same with the right hand for the first phrase. Then you can switch to the articulation indicated by the composer, may it be legato, staccato, non-legato, tenuto, a combination of all of these. And as you do that, monitor your sensations. Make sure everything feels comfortable. Make sure your key attack is deep, that you're not playing shallowly, but also that you're not key bedding. So don't apply pressure into a note, especially if it's a longer note, after you have pressed it, so to speak. Remember that if you do so on the piano, you're only hurting yourself because that effort is no longer needed. We cannot influence the intensity of the sound or the quality of the sound after that first initial moment when the hammer touches the string. So remember all of this when you practice on a hard surface as well. So I am getting a little bit sidetracked now because I want to share everything about the process of learning a piece, but let's return to our topic, which is practicing away from the piano. So continue working on your piece in this manner, gradually incorporating more and more elements of the text. Dynamics, yes, imagine if you have piano, you will channel less weight into the keys. If you have a crescendo, you'll gradually channel more weight. Always, your hearing is in charge, it guides your every movement. Then we connect both hands together, still very slowly. Then we increase the tempo, so work as you normally would, and you will see massive progress. So this is a relatively short overview of how to practice away from the piano, simply on a hard surface that can be found anywhere. And remember that even when times are difficult, we can still practice, we can still develop our skills, we can learn new pieces, we can make great progress, and we should always have faith, have hope, keep our hearts open, and keep playing beautiful music. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my improvised video and that it will be useful for you whenever you find yourself away from your instrument. And if you want to study all the things I quickly highlighted in this video in detail, in a step-by-step, fun and enjoyable manner, where I demonstrate everything on a real piano in a well set up studio, join my piano coaching program at pianocareeracademy.com, where you'll find step-by-step courses for all levels, including a step-by-step scale and arpeggio course, a sight reading course, many hundreds of standalone tutorials focused on a very wide range of piano pieces for all levels, topics, problems, questions. We also have an amazing community, interactive projects where you can share your videos and get feedback, participate in member concerts, share your accomplishments with our members, and much, much more. To join Piano Career Academy, simply click on the first link in the description box below. Alright, thank you again so much for watching. Love you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!